Hello Libra, welcome to your July 2023 tarot card reading. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. Thanks to all for being here. July is a really cool month. We have a lot of astrological transits happening. We have a Venus retrograde going on. We have a nodal transit going on. Chiron is retrograding as well. So I think it's going to be kind of an eventful month, but it's going to be really, really good at the same time for most of us. So these videos are tarot predictions, so be sure to watch your sun, moon, or rising sign, whichever resonates with you the most. If you're here for love, you can also check out your Venus sign. I will be posting astrology videos as well, but I'm going to start posting those around the middle of the month so we can kind of cover the transition from one sign into the next. So in that video, I will absolutely be talking at length about the Venus retrograde, the nodal transits, and all the other things that are going on. So be sure to stay tuned for that. If you want to be notified, please be sure to hit the little subscribe button with the little bell so you can see that notification. I've been getting so many messages of people asking me, Jane, where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. And I've been here. So just make sure you hit that because I think some people just aren't seeing my videos pop up. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reading. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing month. Take care. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your July 2023 tarot card reading. Let's go ahead and get started with the major arcana. Let's see what comes through. The Fool. Okay. I think before we really get into this discussion, we need to talk about the South Node. South Node is coming into Libra on the 17th. South Node in your sign, in addition to Jupiter in your 8th house, does indicate that Libra is seriously shedding some form of their identity and re-emerging over the next couple of years as something and someone completely different. South Node coming through your sign can feel hard because there can often be a self-sacrifice type of quality that comes out, or it can just be a feeling of wandering or being lost or trying to assert yourself but not really feeling like there's anything you can grab onto. But that's not really the point for Libra right now. I think the point for Libra is to continue to release. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with other people or relationships or jobs or anything like that. I think it has to do with a narrative that you have in your mind about who you are. And it may take time. And that's probably something that a lot of you have been working on with all the 4th house healing, transit stuff that we've had over the past 5 years or so in Capricorn. But this feels a little bit more tangible right now. The change, the evolution feels more real. It's not just in your conscious mind. It is truly in the actual physical chemistry and molecules of your body. This change is fundamental. And it will change the trajectory of your life. It truly will. And it will change the types of decisions that you make. You are being reborn, Libra. Very much so. And I think it's not just the South Node, though. I really want to reiterate that, okay? It's not just the South Node. It is also Jupiter in the 8th. It's both. And over the next year, this is going to be the case for Libra. So I think it's time for Libra to get ready and to get on board and to be willing to go in a complete, different, like a 90-degree angle. It's a completely different route than what you were expecting. So the more open you can be, the better off you'll be. I think the Libras who try to cling on to an idea of themselves, they're going to be going through some hard stuff. But if you're willing to shed that skin and adapt new ways of being, you're going to really enjoy the ride. In the environment, we have the Queen of Coins. Now, the Queen of Coins feels, first of all, this is someone other than you, okay? It's not you, it's someone else. It can be anyone from a love interest to a sibling to a friend. anyone that you can truly rely upon. What I love about the Queen of Coins is that it offers grounding and practicality. Sometimes when we go through these big processes, what we need is just a voice of reason. And I think a voice of reason has been somewhat prominent over the past few months, and leaning on those people. This might not be someone that you see every day. It might be a friend that moved across the country or something that you like to call up and talk about life events with. You know, this clearly is someone who has their own life going on. They offer that really nice, neutral third-party perspective with a lot of clarity in terms of helping you to make certain decisions. This person does not seem to be wanting to get involved in your life in terms of coming in and trying to fix anything. They're just a nice sounding board that you can talk about deep and important stuff with. You know, and this is probably someone who, I don't know, can relate to you in a lot of ways. Either they've been through it exactly, or they've been through something similar, or they currently are going through something similar. But sometimes it does help to have that third-party perspective, because it kind of gets you out of your own head a little bit. All right? And when it comes to any big choices or decisions that you're needing to make, either this month or in the months to come, this is someone that you can run everything by and just kind of see what they think and what their impressions are, because chances are they will be a nice mirror for you in terms of validating your own intuitive feelings. You know, this is kind of a similar message that I was getting for Virgo as well, which, by the way, is relevant because many of you are Vedic Virgos, and we have Virgo in that 12th house there, which operates a part of our subconscious sometimes. So, you know, it makes sense that message is carrying over. But this influence in your life is helpful. This is a kind of a, I don't want to say a messenger, because I don't think they're a messenger, but I think your higher self might be channeling through this other person just to help you feel confident in really hearing yourself. Because sometimes when we have that South Node activity, there can be a lot of self-doubt. That's a very real thing. All right, let's see. 9 of Wands. What else does Libra need to know for July? The Sun. All right, there seems to be, with that Sun card, something that you've been keeping under wraps with that 9 of Wands. Like it's something that has been wanting to be expressed, wanting to be, you know, let out of its cage, if you will, and yet you've been keeping it very well contained. Libra does have that tendency to be really controlled. I'm not saying they can't live big lives and go do big things, but when it comes to themselves, this is kind of that Saturn being exalted in Libra type of quality. It has that self-control, and it doesn't always really engage in the more playfulness aspects of life. It can have an appreciation for it, but does it truly engage in that playfulness? And I see with that 9 of Wands that you have been keeping something protected. You've been holding back, or something has just simply not surfaced until now. One of the messages I got a couple of months ago, sometimes in my weekly readings, my weekly astrology sessions that I've done on YouTube, one of the messages that was coming out a lot was that something from really far back in our past is resurfacing. For some of us, even when we were a child, some type of activity or some type of hobby or some type of desire that you've been wanting since you were a little kid that maybe you didn't really indulge because you were just a kid, right? You became an adult, you grew up, you took on real adult life things, and those child desires they weren't realistic. And yet, I think for Libra, some of this is coming up, and this has a lot to do with the Venus retrograde in Leo, by the way, you know, where it's just something, it just never really left. And it probably was something that was always in the back of your mind, but never prominent in your mind in any real way. And now all of a sudden, it's like creeping up. And it's getting harder and harder to ignore that desire not only is there right now, but has always been there, that it has always been with you this whole time. And probably the reason for this was some type of thing that your soul wanted to experience while it was here in this life. And if you ignored it and you became an adult and you did all the adult things, it was only a matter of time before it surfaced again. And I think that's what it's doing. It's surfacing. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be quitting your job and creating all this instability in your life. In fact, that's been something I've also been saying a lot. Jupiter in Taurus, we are not trying to destroy our lives right now. We're not trying to completely deconstruct everything. But what we are doing is bringing new life into new things for the things that will eventually replace the old things. And that is a slow process. And when I look at the Page of Wands, it also feels like a day-to-day type of process. There's probably a lot of learning for Libra right now, a lot of development, a lot of talent and skill development. And it's going to take a while before that new thing really takes hold. But this new thing, this new path, this new desire is likely going to grow to the point where it will be able to eventually replace the things that no longer serve you. And that's a big part of that Fool energy as well. The shedding of the skin, the shedding of the identity. Because if you've had something, let's say it was a job, you've had a job, for example, that you did for a really long time, but you've probably maxed out, right? And you know that if you stay there, then you're going to slowly die inside. See, the thing with Jupiter in Taurus is life, where Scorpio is death with that opposition. And for you, we have 8th house, so it's life, Taurus in the 8th, so it's life through death. So for you, new life happens through the death of the old things. Okay? The death of an identity is going to give you a new identity. So if you can embrace that wholly, and you can embrace that in your heart of hearts, you'll be less resistant to the way that life is, to the direction that life is carrying you. You'll be less resistant. You'll be less afraid. Ooh, I love Temperance, indicating peace, also stability, transmutation. I like the pages. Look at how normal this month looks. I don't think this is going to be a massively eventful month, just generally speaking, not only for Libra, but for most people. It's not a hugely eventful. We don't have a gnarly astrology environment. I think it's pretty good. Temperance feels stoic to me. Like this is a process. Like here you are on this timeline down here going through this trade process, but your consciousness is way up here. And your consciousness up here is able to observe this process from a detached perspective. And that's why this process does not feel really like anything. You know, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like what's happening is really happening. It just feels like life. It just feels totally normal. But you know that there is change. You know that something is awakening within you. Knight of Coins is also a very day-to-day type of place. It's you wake up, you do your things, you run your little errands, you go to work, you make your money, you take care of your house, you do what you need to do. It's all very regular. And I actually think there's a lot of power in that regular part of life for Libra, because as you start to make small changes in the regular stuff, right? Like you have your daily schedule, but now you're going to make just a small modification and you're going to start eating one type of food instead of another type of food. You know, instead of waking up at this time, you're going to wake up at a different time. Instead of wearing these clothes, you're going to wear those clothes. Instead of doing this, you're going to do that. And so there are really small, minuscule trades happening. This does feel like a month of trade. And when you trade one thing for another, or you swap something for another, slowly but surely that redefines how you live your life, and that defines who you become ultimately. I don't think Libra is taking, like there's no overwhelming undertaking here. It's really, really small scale. And with the page, I actually like this page coming in. It feels like Libra might be introducing themselves into a new community with the 11th house Venus retrograde happening. You're introducing yourself into a new community, associating with new people, talking to new people, gaining new ideas, new perspectives on life. The Queen of Coins might be someone in this new community too, if this is not someone you already have a relationship with. They may be someone coming on board and saying, oh, we have a newcomer. Let's, give them the orientation. And when I say a newcomer, obviously this doesn't have to be an actual organization. It's just like maybe you're starting to get interested in a new thing, right? You're starting to get interested in a new art form or a new hobby or something like that. And this is a representative of the community at large. And they help guide you. They help, educate you, they help show you the ropes, help you to feel comfortable to explore. All right, this feels like something is creeping into Libra's life, like it's got its tentacles in, and there's really nothing you can do to stop it. Not that you would want to. To me, this feels exciting. To me, this feels like you have a reason to wake up in the morning again, especially if you've been feeling kind of dull or dead, or if things have just not been going your way. This kind of brings that spark back for Libra. It makes you feel invigorated, and maybe it does give you a sense of passion or desire, as we often feel with the Fool and also the Sun. But again, it's manageable with that Temperance card. It's not like destroying your life because you want something so badly. This is what I always say, the power of barely wanting. You barely want something, and so you start to integrate it, and it just kind of happens. You sort of meld into it. It doesn't take a ton of conscious effort or a ton of conscious thought. And the thing with Saturn retrograde in your 6th house is it actually makes the revision of the day-to-day life a lot easier. I do think your day-to-day life is under scrutiny a little bit with that sign. Ooh, beautiful. With that transit, Saturn in the 6th in Pisces. Now, the 7 of Swords is a card I often associate with self-sabotage or self-betrayal or self-abandonment. But to me, that feels impossible with the Sun. So this seems to be like that wall that was between you and your adult life and you doing what you've been doing and that desire that had been instilled in your heart for a long time. Now, this desire is shining really, really bright. And it's an undeniable thing that you're wanting. So this part of you that did self-abandon is actually weakening in strength. But because it's weakening, it also feels like it's more prominent, like you're more aware of it because you're not doing it anymore. You're no longer succumbing to it. It's almost like you're quote unquote suffocating that self-abandoning part of you. Now, You can love that part of you because maybe it was essential for you to do what you did. Maybe there was a safety thing, a survival thing. Maybe it was you just, listening to society because you trusted society as a kid and it told you what to do. Whatever the case was, it's not punishing that. You're not berating yourself, but you're also not letting that part of you function anymore. You're not letting that self-abandonment to really happen. You're going to cling on to this self, right? That's growing, that's changing, and you're kind of excited to be along for the ride. You don't want to abandon yourself. You don't want to put something on the back burner because maybe you've been doing that. And I think this is the contrast. This is the inevitable contrast that happens when we're finally doing something that we're feeling spiritually and heartfully guided to do. The part of you that has fought against it for a long time is going to continue to fight the way it always has. But through your day-to-day actions, like one step at a time, right? We've got that Virgo kind of energy up here with the Knight of Coins. We have the Eight of Coins, which is methodical and process-oriented, and it really likes to just sit down and do the work. And if this work is associated with this new desire, then this is something that's going to just inevitably grow. You're going to inevitably reach some form of a finish line. You're actually going to complete something, or you're going to learn what it is you've set out to learn. And with that, an entirely new landscape of possibility begins to open up. And that's what the Fool is all about, is the realm of possibilities. The Fool can only truly show up when we're truly open to a lot of different things. If we are limited to what we expect, that's more like a devil card. Or even sometimes a tower, when we're limited in what our expectations are. But when we have a boundlessness, when we allow our heart to accept the infinite expanse that is in front of us, that's when the magician can really, really thrive. And that's when we actually feel connected with that ethereal realm. And we can pull down ideas, we can pull down creativity, and we can bring that stuff into reality through the Eight of Coins. I love that these two cards came out together because I often feel that the Eight of Coins is the necessary part of the magician. The magician is just like, it's what makes it possible that an idea can come to life. But this is where we actually bring it to life, where we use our physical vessel, our physical body, to do what is required in order to actualize it. So you have all parts of the equation here, which tells me that Libra, anything that you're wanting to manifest right now is 100% possible. And the good news is I actually feel that you are motivated and energized to do what it needs to do, what it takes in an inspired way. None of what I'm seeing here feels heavy or burdened or obligated, like you're dragging your feet, like you have to. This is coming from a place of like, no, I want to. And that's the best place, because that's when magic truly, truly happens. Okay, so we're going to pull out the clarifiers. I'm going to pull out one oracle card first and kind of see what else comes through. I'm really loving this landscape though. Libra, what else? Passion ignited. Well, I don't know if I could have said that better myself. I think that's exactly what's happened. Passion has been ignited, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Once it's there, I don't know, all of the discipline in the world, all the focus in the world, and there's a time and place for that. I will say that. There's a time and place for you to say no to stuff. There's a time and place for you to really hone in on your skills and development and building what you're building. But I don't think now is that time with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, with a Venus retrograde. Okay? And with South Node coming into your sign in Jupiter in the 8th, in Cancer season being, moon ruled and it's all fluctuating and all of that. I really don't think this is the time to lock in. Locking in is more for like Capricorn and Aquarius seasons, okay? But this is a time of fluidity and acknowledging the fire that is burning within you. It's going to be an undeniable feeling. If you're struggling with what I'm talking about and you're like, Jane, there's nothing going on, you're going to need to find quiet times. You're going to need to find, a place where you can go without distractions. And I do mean without television, without Netflix, without streaming, without phones, without social media, without books even, and just allow yourself to just be. And allow yourself to listen and to hear. And because I am sensing strongly that something is trying to come to the surface, but it is in lockdown. It has been in lockdown. So some of you may be more in lockdown than others. Okay, so let's pull out the clarifiers. We're going to cover all these clarifiers in the comprehensive reading. All that information on how to access will be found in the description box down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards. All right, so for the Fool, we have another Magician, another 9 of Wands, okay, and a 5 of Wands. For the Environment, what else does Libra need to know? Justice, Judgment, ooh, both these coming out together, and 3 of Swords, okay. For the 9 of Wands, what else does Libra need to know? 9 of Cups, Knight of Cups, 4 of Coins. Ooh, Queen of Swords, that's the Libra card. Strength. The Empress, another Libra card. We got Justice, Queen of Swords, and the Empress. All these cards are associated with Libra, with the Venus rulership here with that one. Another 5 of Wands, Queen of Cups, and a Devil card. The Magician again. So we've got 3 Magicians, a 2 of Cups, 10 of Coins, an Emperor, another 7 of Swords. Okay, in this comprehensive reading, I am going to talk about the possibility of relationships. When the North Node comes into the 7th house, there is a prominence placed on relationships without question. So we are certainly going to need to talk about that. Especially for those of you who are single. Okay, we have another Judgment card. An 8 of Swords. And a 2 of Swords. A Knight of Swords, 8 of Coins, and a King of Swords. Okay, there is going to be a lot of self-discipline. 3 of Cups, Page of Coins. But when I say discipline, it's a little different than what I normally say. Okay, and then 9 of Coins. 7 of Coins, and the World. Beautiful. All right, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive reading. So if you want to join me, you are more than welcome. Again, that information is in the description box down below. Thank you so much. I love you. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.